Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. I'm a Nigerian currently staying in the United Kingdom. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us today. If you're an old subscriber, yay, thank you for coming again. It's so nice to have you here. So today, like the topic we're talking about today, talking about how to get an apartment in the UK as an immigrant. Like, wow. Nobody prepared me for that. so so backstory was so in our case we really didn't like the plan of like going to the UK in 2023. When I was doing like the vision board for my family for the year, relocating to the UK wasn't part of the things. One thing led to the other. We just felt like, you know what, let's just take the step and let's just see how it goes. And then we finally got all our documents ready, packed our bags. So I'm going to have like videos to talk about that experience and that journey and all of that. But then by the time we came, the plan initially was by the time we got here, we're going to stay with a friend for a couple of days, basically, or weeks, and just get in and see how, because from Nigeria I was actually trying to get an accommodation before we arrived, but it was more like, oh, you have to be in the country first and all of that. So I was like, okay. And then the family were very open to allow us to stay in the house. Shout out to them. They were last saying this, yeah. If you're watching, shout out to you guys. They were open to allow us to stay in the house for a couple of days. I think we stayed with them for close to 2 weeks or so, yeah, before we had to move out. Then getting this while we like find our feet and all of that. So I have another video that talks about the first things you must do when you land in the UK as an immigrant. So those are the things I wish I knew. Some of them I knew, like from the people that we stayed with when we came, but there are some like other things that I wish I knew, like from the day I landed. That I would have just done. That just made some things easier. So I had a video that talks about things you should do once you get into the UK as an immigrant, basically. So back to the gist of the searching for the accommodation. So so it was, for us, it was like an impromptu search. It was just done on us that, okay, we needed, by the time we got in, we had spent like over 10 days thereabout. It was just like, oh, we needed to get like an accommodation and all of that. Then we started, look, initially I wasn't like really bored. I wasn't looking out for initially, and then we started looking out for. So thankfully, close to where we're staying, we had like a lineup of estate agents on that entire territory. So one evening I just went with my son, just knocked on like the Nigerian girl that I am, knocked on the door of all the estate agents, and like, I am looking for an accommodation. So there's some things you need to know when you're looking for an accommodation here in the UK. First off is, if you are coming with your spouse, so just your spouse, you can get like a 1-bedroom apartment, you can get like a studio apartment, all those are possible. But once you have a child, you can't get a 1-bedroom apartment. They won't give you 1 bedroom. So if you have one child, you have to get like a 2-bedroom apartment, because the notion is the child has to have his or her own room to stay in. So if you have 2 children and they are of opposite sex, and I think if they're around 5 years old or thereabout, they both have to have separate rooms as well. So that means you need to get like a 3-bedroom apartment. So they have like all of those regulations, those kind of laws in place and all of that. And so so it was just clear that we couldn't get like a 1-bed apartment. We were going to get, I was actually looking for a 2-bedroom apartment. I didn't even mind. So then it also has to come down to your pricing, your budget. How much are you willing to spend? So the budget basically is tied to how much you earn in the UK. So it was a case of, for you to get an accommodation, you needed a job. Kind of. So they would ask for your payslip or your contracts, your employment contracts and all of that, and then see how much you earn, and on that basis can now allocate, okay, what kind of accommodation you can be entitled to, and then you can draw out your budget from there. So we're looking at 2-bedroom apartments around the range of £800 per month, £800 thereabout per month thereabout. So I started knocking on their doors, like I said, and they were all like, oh, they have like this common phrase, we're so sorry, we sincerely apologize. Just saying, oh, they didn't have any place for us at the moment. They didn't have any place. So I walked, it was really a long walk. I mean, walking through that entire road, I mean, knocking on all the agents, more than 10 of them, and none of them had anything for me. And it was now becoming like a desperate point, because where do I go? So yeah, we kept going through that process. Then they have like an online process as well, where you can go check for accommodation. You can put in your interest, and then you'll be invited to come and view the apartment, and if you like it, your document to be shared. So it's called Rightmove. I just go to Google and type rightmove.com. So we started searching on Rightmove as well. Picked up my phone, call all of the agents, call their numbers. Hi, I'm looking for a 2-bedroom apartment. Do you have a 2-bedroom apartment available? Some of them say yes, some of them say no. And the thing is, some of them will say, oh, we actually have a 2-bedroom apartment, but it will be available in 2 months time. How can a house that I want to move in as soon as yesterday be available in 2 months time? I mean, so we started going through that back and forth. Then we finally got one somewhere around like the city center. Went to check it. I couldn't get there in time to check it out, so my husband had to go and check it out. I think it was 1,200 for 2-bedroom apartment, not furnished, was unfurnished. I mean, yes, they have this thing of furnished and unfurnished apartments as well. So it wasn't furnished but because at that time we're really desperate. I didn't mind. I was like, okay, we can sign up a contract. So that's another thing I'm going to talk about, contract signing as well. We can sign up a contract with the agency, and for 6 months instead of a year. 6 months, and within that 6 months we would look for something else. Once we find something else that is suitable to us, we would just stay for the 6 months and then move out. So we got that, we had that option. And then where we're staying at the time, we had to move out, so we moved to like an Airbnb. I was like staying like an Airbnb. So we then started the process. So what the process has to do, the agent process has to do with, you have to like fill out their forms, the numerous forms. You fill those forms out, then they would send like what's it called, like a reference letter to like your employer to confirm that you truly work where you say you work, and you earn how much you say you earn, which was done in our case as well. So they sent that out. So in our case, they sent that to our employer, but by the time it got them, the employer did not receive it or did not respond, kind of. And so they were waiting. And then so while we're still staying at the Airbnb, 2 or 3 days later, we got like one of the agents that had approached initially. We reached out to her, and she said, oh, she had like another place for us to come view. We went to view the guys. It was a 3-bedroom apartment. The rooms were so small. All of the 3 rooms were upstairs. The house had 1 bathroom and toilet, which was downstairs, opposite the sitting room. Like, who built a house like this? even in my village, they don't build houses like that. But you know, and guess what, guys? When we went for the viewing, we had like 3 or 4 families also came to view that same apartment. That's to tell you the hike that was out in that season. The hike was real, guys. So I mean, so because we're desperate, we're like, okay, well, we'll take the accommodation. And then the agent told us that okay, she was going to send our details to the landlord and see what the landlord says. I said okay. So went off, and then she got back to us like 2 days after that. The landlord said he was going on with another prospective tenant, and that was like, who wants your house before? Guys, it's not more funny. So we went through that, and so that same lady called us a couple of days after and said, oh, there's another apartment. This one's a 3-bedroom as well, and it's furnished. Would you like to see them? Of course. And because we're staying in an Airbnb a bit farther away from the city, my husband was at the city at the time. So oh, my husband will come for viewing. So my husband went to view the apartment, and from there he was just so excited. Like, oh, this house is perfect for us. It was a 3-bedroom, has like three baths and all of that, furnished. Everything was in place, wardrobes, mattresses, kitchen stuffs and all of that, fridge, freezer, everything that we needed basically were in the house. Like, okay, so the next step was to again go to the landlord, send our details to the landlord and see if the landlord would take us. I mean, and so the agent sent our details to the landlord, and landlord, British white guy, was like, okay, he would accept us. And that's how. And funny enough, they had other tenants as well that were interested in the apartment, but then landlord thankfully accepted that. And to be honest, landlord is a super amazing guy. I mean, that's story for the amazing white guy. I mean, super amazing. Shout out to you, Mr. Klein, if you're watching. Shout out to you. So we then, once he accepted, the same process, send our details, send a reference form to like the employer that you had put in. The employer will have to confirm that you have like an engagement with them, how much you're going to earn and all of that. Once that came back that it was good, yeah, so in our case, we really wanted to move in quickly. The landlord was like doing like some renovation in the house and all that. We're like, you know what, guy, we were moving, and then the little renovation you have to do that is left, you just do it, you just continue with and all of that. So they were so like gracious and so very nice to us. Then you go signed documents, had all those documents, all that happens online. So they send you via email, you sign them, and then you pay for deposit. Yeah. So remember, critical things that needs to happen is you need to get like a job or an employer that is willing to attest that you have like a job with them and how much you earn as well. That's one. Then two, you need to know the right housing that is right for you. Then you also need to set out a budget, which that budget will actually flip at the end of the day, because at the end of the day we're looking for a 2-bedroom. We later got like a 3-bedroom. So the budget will change, depends on what you finally find. I mean, and if you still decide to stick to your budget, that's still cool as well. And then yeah, so you have to pay deposits, right? So the part I skipped, I didn't talk about, is we had to pay before when the landlord had accepted I was going to take us. We had to pay like a 1-week rent deposit to the agent. Also, until the agent gets that 1-week deposit, that they will start the entire process, because they want to be sure that you're just going to stick to them and not going to start looking out with other agents as well. So but that money that you pay would be deducted from your rent that you're entitled to pay for the month. So you have to get your deposits ready as well. And then by the time all papers are finally signed, everything is in place, you come to pick up your key, you now have to pay your 1 month's rent plus another deposit. So the deposit is usually a month and a week's rent. Yeah, I think that's what it is, an additional month and a week's rent as well. So you have to pay that as well. So in our case, we had to pay all that sum. So we paid for the month's rent, to pay the deposit that we're supposed to pay, and then the other deposit we had paid before the initial 1 week was deducted from the entire sum, and then we had that paid, and then we got the key and we moved into our lovely apartment. Our lovely house, actually, because it's an entire house. And we moved, yeah, so that's the process. So if you're planning to come into the UK as an immigrant and you're sorting out for accommodation, you need to have like all of this at the back of your mind. If you have someone that you can put up with for a while, good. I mean, so if they're willing to take you for a long time, I mean, my advice is, even if you have a family that is willing to accommodate you for a while, from your get-go, from the moment you land, start looking, so you don't get into that panic mood and all of that, right? So you don't get anxious and all of that. So just start looking and get your figures right, your budget right and all of that, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So I mean, Rightmove was really like a good resource for us. We're able to use that to like get lots of information and also reach out to like agents and all that. But I would say that when you know that it's really important that you get an accommodation as soon as possible, that you really visit the agents, visit them, let them put a face to your face, put a name to your name, and then just like really know you, then get like this one-on-one communication and contact with them, so that you can just like follow up on them, call them, and you have their personal number of the agents working in the agency, in the agent company, and then you can follow up with them one-on-one. I think that's faster than just using like relying on just the website. I hope this is helpful. If it is, give me a thumbs up, comment, share your experience as well. If you had similar challenge in the UK or in any other country that you've relocated to, share your experience in the comment section of how it was for you getting accommodation and how you were able to settle in at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day. Bye.